Righty then, it's weekend and it means it's one thing, doesn't it? It means I'm here telling we're signing nobody again. It's the transfer review! So first up in the probably not signing them category today is Jaden Sancho, or as we know him on this show, lovingly as Jason Sanchez. Right then, Jason Sanchez, Borussia Dortmund, didn't feature this week when they came over to Manchester and didn't quite get the rub of the green, but it is what it is, I guess. Seems that a lot of people, and Fabrizio Romano amongst them, reckons that everything is in place for United to sign Dortmund winger Jason Sanchez. Here's the problem with this phraseology and this statement though. Everything has been in place for 2 years. This is not news, really. Like, it's been in place for 2 years and United just haven't slid the cash over the table. We've just gone, how much do you want for him? And they've told us how much they want for him and we've gone, cool. And then stayed making eye contact. Dortmund are like, you buying it? Picture the scene. Steve walks into the shop. He spies a Red Bull. Everything in place for me to buy the Red Bull exists. I'm in the shop. I have the £1.95 or whatever the fuck they are. The fella behind the counter is ready. Primed, if you like. Button near the till. If I don't make the action of actually picking it up and putting it on the fucking counter and paying the man, guess what happens? Fuck all! So everything's in place for United to sign Jason Sanchez. Are we getting him, Steve? I think we'll get someone. I legitimately think we'll get someone. Who will that there be? I don't know. Honest feelings right now, I think United will be linked with and put transfers offers in for Jason Sanchez, Calvert-Lewin and Declan Rice. There you go. That's my feelings on the table. There's some knowledge behind what I'm saying. Will we get them over the line? No. This is also my exact honest feelings. I don't fucking know. I will never underestimate the incompetency of Manchester United when it comes to getting transfers done. But I do think that those three players, might be something in the fact that they're all British players, I don't know. Those three players, I definitely think United want them, and I definitely think United at some point will be linked with them very heavily over the next 4 or 5 months. Will we get them done though? We are capable of getting them done, and we are absolutely capable of completely not getting them done. So it could go anyway, couldn't it? At the moment, Jason Sanchez, United, though, he wants it, we want it. Dortmund probably will sell. Can't give it 0, because I know there's truth to some of that. It's got to be a 2 out of 10, hasn't it? Because it doesn't feel hot yet. Let's hope it moves up in the summer. Ibrahima Konate. It was suggested by a couple of places that United were going to go head-to-head with Liverpool for his signature. I guess that happens. 2 clubs interested in a player at once. Once it becomes known that that player's willing to move on from the club that he's at, yeah, that can happen. Builder saying that Liverpool have pulled out, giving United a free swing at it. It's not a free fucking swing at it, is it? Let's be real. It's still a very complicated piece of business that we have to do. And they're talking about it being, they haven't put the price on it, but I believe it's somewhere in the 60 million sort of range. That's certainly not a free swing at this sort of thing. So there's more to it than that. But like I said, apparently now United have an absolutely free run at him. And all I'm going to say is, fucking do it though. I do like the look of him. I think he's a good defender. I think he's technically good. Does he mega massively improve the starting 11? No. He's not the sort of player. I mean, £60 million should buy you a player that tips up, puts his suitcase on the floor and goes, I'm fucking starting when I'm fit. And I'm not 100% sure that that's the case with him. I wouldn't feel like Jason Sanchez, prime example. Let's say we managed to get him for somewhere in the region of like 70, 75. I think we've done all right there, to be honest with you. There's a perception that he's had a bad season in Dortmund this year. I don't fucking know where that's come from. If he rocks up, he starts, doesn't he? That's it. I mean, even basically Cavani has come in and started. Pretty much most positions that we've got, someone will come in and start every single time because we don't have a world-class 11. Konate, yeah, I think he's good. Does he do it enough? I'm not sure. I don't think there's enough in it on the basis of this Build article that just decided somehow that United and Liverpool were going head to head for him, and now Liverpool aren't, so he's United. That's maths. That doesn't add up in my head, mate. So I'm going to give that just a 1 out of 10. Erling Haaland. Oh my God! In the last week or two since we've done this kid has been getting pimped out across the world, hasn't he? Like, I've not seen anything like this. And I mentioned this on a podcast the other week. We all know Mino Raiola is Erling Haaland's pimp, agent. And we know that he's doing every single thing that he can to maximise the revenue for this. There's two players like kind of on this level, the new Messi, Ronaldo, the two that are going to get pitted against each other for all the different awards and all the accolades and all the rest of that sort of stuff over the next decade probably. And that is Mbappe and Erling Haaland. Now, Mbappe's actually had an absolutely bonkers transfer in the last couple of years when he went to Paris. Who's his agent? What does he look like? You see the difference? So Erling Haaland's been literally shot windowed across Europe. We all kind of know the fee. Now, this might be like Dortmund flapping a little bit going, that release clause that he's got for next year, we're going to lose a lot of money if he goes just for that release clause next year. Let's see if we can cash in on him this summer. So I think this is a deal between Raiola and Dortmund. Like, look, if we can get weighed in this summer, we can all get weighed in this summer. The kid's definitely going to move. Let's do it on our terms and let's do it this year. Let's see if we can do it like that. So I understand it. Would I want him at United? Oh my fucking God, yes. In a heartbeat. I think he'd be sensational in this United team. I think he'd be exactly what we need. Do I want to deal with Raiola again? No. But sometimes you've got to dance with the devil, haven't you? Now, the Athletic have come out and said that there's only a handful of clubs that can afford this £150 million fee, and United are amongst them. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think United can afford the £150 million fee because it's almost doubling what our previous record was. We're in the middle of a pandemic. All revenues are completely in the toilet at the moment. I know FFP is no longer a thing, but I don't think United was ever really hampered by FFP in any way, shape or form whatsoever. United have spent money since the Glazers. We've spent a lot of money since the Glazers. Since Fergie went even. We spent I think 900 million, something like that on transfers. Okay, well it's been 8 years. It's 100 million a year. I don't think United can justify doing that on a single player. Like, people talk about what Ollie's spent. In the grand scheme of things, Ollie's not spent a lot. And you look at the revenue of the club and the percentage spent on transfers now versus what it was previously, what Fergie was dealing with, what previous managers, what Lou Van Gaal got. Lou Van Gaal and Jose got treated a lot better than Ollie gets treated in the transfer market. And I think we've overpaid with some players, which I think is unfair on Ollie. In terms of the price that we paid for Maguire, the price that we paid for Wan-Bissaka, I think it's a club policy and possibly a political policy because of what's happened with Brexit, that the club are looking more towards English and homegrown talent because of the impact of the of Brexit on football. That wasn't a consideration that the other two managers had. You couldn't bring in a Matteo Darmian for a good price. You have to get your Wan-Bissaka for 5 times as much, and you maybe can't bring in Leon Bailey for whatever reason for 30-40 million. You have to bring in Jaden Sancho for 2-3 times that. And I think that's a consideration that people aren't thinking about when it looks at what Ollie has spent. You also got to consider that what Ollie has managed to spend, he's also been absolutely clearing out the wages at Manchester United. He's also lost Lukaku. Now, that might have been partly down to his choice. It was definitely partially down to Lukaku's choice of not wanting to be here. But he's moved on those players. Jose managed to bring in Mkhitaryan and then fuck Mkhitaryan off, bring Sanchez in, and then Ollie's had to get rid of Sanchez because he was done and he was on astronomical wages. He wasn't the player that any of us dreamed he could be. I mean, it was all very exciting when we signed him. But it was still another player that Ollie's lost that he had at one point. He's replaced a lot of them with youngsters, but the squad is very imbalanced at the moment. I think we need a lot more players in the 25, 26 sort of range that have gone on and done some things. Maybe that's why I've got a weird obsession with Sal Niguez, because I know it doesn't really make a lot of sense on the grand scheme of things, but I do think that there's a massive vacancy of that sort of player and that sort of age profile in United's squad. And I do think a British core is a good thing in the longer term, especially if those players are at their pinnacle club. That's the key thing, really. It's not necessarily about them being British. It's more about them being at their pinnacle club, not thinking that the grass is greener somewhere else. I actually had a really good conversation with Paddy Evra about this. And we was talking about the identity of Manchester United, and we was talking about what the identity of this football club is. You know, I said to him, like, he was talking about how when he played here, the core of the team was British and the core of the team was this, and he was seeming to really champion that. And I said, hang on, you're French, mate. And he was like, I know. And the core should be British, which I thought was a really bizarre sort of take on stuff, and something I certainly didn't expect necessarily. But maybe he's onto something, and maybe he can experience it from inside the dressing room. Maybe there's a language thing, maybe there's a culture thing. I would have to defer to him. Being one of the people who got Manchester United, certainly for a foreign-born player, I don't know if there's ever been a foreign-born player that got United as much as Paddy Evra did. So maybe he's seeing something, understanding the culture of football and the culture of Manchester United on a level that maybe we as fans don't necessarily fully understand. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about at the moment. Who are we even on about here? Is it Erling Haaland? What the fuck sort of road did we fuck off down there? Yeah, we're not signing him. Well, that way. Right. I think the point I was trying to make is we're not going to spend 150 million on one player. He might get 50, 60 million pound players. But I just got a real feeling this summer that one of them might be it. If you get, maybe you get Sancho for 70. That's it. Like, there might be some Dan James sort of signings. But, you know, the noises are already starting to come out. I can already see them. The money that we spent on Palestri and Ahmad, that money would have done for Sancho. Have we really gambled on in 3-4 years' time? It's not fair on Ollie if that's the case. It's really not fair on him. We need to improve the first 11 today. Haaland does that. But I think the desire from the fan base, and probably even from the manager, if we're being real, would be to get that in and do that. And I just don't think that ambition is matched by the ownership. So, can I see United getting Haaland this summer for 150 million? No. 0 out of 10. Right then, so we've got Declan Rice that we're going to do, and it also ties in with the start of the outs, which is with Jesse Lingard. So Declan Rice, Jesse Lingard. I think the Athletic have been talking up this one again. David Moyes has said any transfer involving Declan Rice needs to be in excess of 100 million. This is the madness that you're dealing with when you have to try and buy British players. There's no sense in this, and there was always like a British tax on players anyway for the last 20 years because there wasn't a proliferation of them at the top. There really wasn't. So they always went for like crazy good money. Whereas, you know, you can go and pick up a great Serbian player, a great even Italian player, because they're willing to move and they're willing to come. There's just you get better value for money by going doing that. And I think that's something that we've not yet seen the effects of with Brexit, and we're going to soon see, because I think it's going to be very wide-reaching all the way down through the entire football pyramid on this one. 100 million for Rice is insane. It's like when they wanted 50 million for Longstaff and you go, mate, the fuck are you talking about? Like, 50 million should be first choice starter for his country, probably, maybe not a match winner, but someone you can rely on in a Champions League game. That's what 50 million to me should represent. And I don't think we got that with Fred, by the way, for anyone that's thinking about writing that. That's what I think 50 million should represent. A 100 million, fucking hell, should represent a match winner. A match winner. Vidic, Ferdinand, Michael Carrick, a Paul Scholes, a fucking match winner. Haaland. 150 is mental, but 100, you know, if I had it, I'd do it. Match winner. I like Declan Rice. He's 50, 60 million tops. He's a player that you can rely on. He's not a match winner. He's a good player. Now, looking at what Jesse Lingard's gone and done at West Ham, if he hadn't been on loan from Manchester United, he'd been some fucking kid from France. You can't tell me there's a massive price difference between Jesse Lingard and Declan Rice based on the last 4 months. You can't do that. I think we're probably going to get absolutely shafted when we try and sell Jesse Lingard. They're going to offer us Dan James money. But he's not Dan James quality, is he? Clearly. He's absolutely ripped it up since he's gone to West Ham. Fucking shitting goals and assists. But I do think we're going to get Dan James money for him. They're talking up of some sort of swap deal. I think that's a deal that's, like I said earlier, I think Rice, along with Calvert-Lewin and Sancho, are players that I think United are going to go for. I see something in this. If they want to start... I mean, David Moyes might be just playing the game here and going, you have to start somewhere, let's start there. You know, he might go, yeah, £50 million player, really. But you never give your first price, on the first call, do you? So I think he might just be playing the game. He's certainly not a £100 million player. I think he improves United. I just don't know how this swap goes down with United getting good value, because I think we're going to get absolutely shafted. If they can agree a price, this is something that I definitely think can happen. The price is going to be the big roadblock in this, but I don't think we're quite at 50-50 yet. I think this is something that all parties, Jesse, Declan, United and West Ham would like to make happen. I think we're at like 4 out of 10 at the moment, probably for both sides of this. Jesse to go there and Declan to come here, because the price needs to be negotiated and sorted out, and I can see that being a massive stumbling block. Edinson Cavani, as I've said now for a few weeks, when his old man comes out and says he wants to go Boca Juniors, I think you listen. ESPN are saying that he is now closer than ever to signing for Boca Juniors at the end of the season. Believe it. I don't think there's been any development on this, and ESPN feels like an echo chamber for the stuff that happened 2 weeks ago everywhere else. So we'll give it a 6 out of 10. Not really saying much more on that. A little bit disappointing if it goes down the way it looks like it's going down. It definitely increases the urgency for United to bring in a first choice number 9. But yeah, it feels like Cavani hasn't worked out here for probably more personal reasons or desires than anything else, because I think he offers a lot as a number 9. And certainly with the role he came as, he didn't come in as a 26-year-old Edinson Cavani, did he? He came in as I'm on my last legs, I'm on the downward slope sort of Edinson Cavani, and I think he's done a good job when you put it up against those metrics. So I'm a bit gutted it'll only be a season, and I'll be even more gutted if we don't ever actually get to be in there and actually see him play. That'd be really sad, wouldn't it, that you come and sign for Manchester United and leave before ever playing in front of a Manchester United crowd. That'd be fucking shite. So, looks like that could be the end of Cavani, and he might have had one of the coolest chants ever. And here we go with a weekly Paul Pogba update. And OK Diario are saying that Barcelona could swoop for him, seeing as though he's not going to be signing a contract at Manchester United. I'm not sure that he won't sign a contract. I'm not sure that they're not daft enough to offer him 500 grand a week to stay. And because of the financial situation across the world, who can afford what Pogba's truly worth, really? Not many, if any. So I think that there's a good chance that Pogba does stay. I don't think it's quite 50-50. I think he's closer to the exit than he is to staying. Certainly after the things that Raul has said in the past. But I do think that it's not 100% that he's going. I do think United will throw the kitchen sink at him to try and get him to sign. As for him going to Barcelona, yeah, I could see it. Absolutely. They're probably one of the 4 teams in the world that I could expect him to turn up at, which would be Juve, Paris, Real Madrid and Barca. Those are the clubs I could expect him to go to. I don't really see him going to anywhere else. The financial situation at Barcelona is literally hilarious, isn't it? They are right through the bottom of their overdraft. They've unlocked some sort of fucking secret thing where the money doesn't run out and they just keep going. How are you $1 billion in debt? When it got to 900 million, wasn't someone like, yeah, lads, that's a fucking lot of money, like. And then it got to 950 and it was like, don't worry about it. And then we got to $1 billion. $1 billion. Isn't that 10 figures? It's a lot of zeros, lads. If I was $1 billion in debt, I think I would just sit there, pale, shitting myself, looking, refreshing my account balance, because the interest on $1 billion, oh mate, that must change by the second. Every time you refresh it, there you go, it's another 80 quid. What was that for? Time. Fucking hell. Refresh it. Oh, that's got to make you want to throw up a little bit. Barcelona are the first club to break through the $1 billion revenue mark. Hey, still $1 billion in debt. Jesus! Who's running the club? Andy Tate and Freddie Quinn? Fucking hell, lads. I mean, I'm all for a good time. I'm going to run up some absolute chaos when it's my time to go. You better believe it. Is that what's going on at Barcelona? Is someone like, yeah, don't worry about that. I ain't paying that. I'm fucking gone. $1 billion. And you think that's a lot of money? Wait till you Google what they've spent on debt repayments. Anyway, Pogba at Barcelona. Let's give it a 3 out of 10. Because it could happen, couldn't it? But, I mean, put it this way. If anyone from United is watching this, and I know sometimes some of you do, could we get the cash up front for Pogba? Because I wouldn't fucking trust a cheque with Barcelona's name at the bottom of it at the moment. A fucking billion. Billion with a B. No, not saying million, I'm saying billion. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of cash. Right, that's me. Hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Laters.